All right, welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruisin. It is Sunday night spins. We typically try to go for about an hour and just spin out a few things, answer a few questions. Um, so, chat in your questions or comments, and we'll do what we can to work through them as we go through the night. All right, Ken says we're all good, so audio is good. What's up, Ryan? 30-day gamblers here. How you doing? All right. Let's see. All right, Ryan. I just had a group of friends come over. I have some friends come over that are getting into cruising and trying to figure out, earning points for free cruises. And so we get together every once in a while, probably not every month, but every 6 weeks or so, we try to get together. And we run through some strategies. Got a group of friends that are going this coming weekend. They're going on one, and they wanted to know that strategy, the point pusher strategy. So I showed them the strategy. They're going to give it a go this weekend. So let's see here. All right, y'all got anything you want me to run? I had somebody send me a strategy that I may try to spin out on here tonight. It's not that complicated to set up. But the one time I've spun it out like 4 different sessions. And the first session I bought in for $500 and I cashed out for $12.40. Okay, so it's a great system for profit if it goes your way, of course. But that was one session. That first session made it look like it was the best system ever. Let's see, session 2, I was in for 500, out for 400, in for 5, out 0 after looks like 10 spins, give or take. Third try was in for 500, out for 440 after 30 spins. So, it's got opportunity there. I really like that first session I did with it. And, but the name of it, I think it's called Padaslave. It's Padaslave. But then he's also got here in the description, it says it doesn't have an E on the end. So I don't know if it's the E's should be there or not there. I don't know. I'll show you all how to set it up, though, because I am curious of that system. Let's see. And I think, Ryan, was you the one that sent me in the City of Gold strategy? If so, I haven't had a chance to go to run that one yet. Been a little busy this week. Let's see here. Just trying to make sure what all I got here for paperwork from what I was wanting to go through the night. Let's see. I obviously I want to do this other one that David sent me. I want to run through it again. What was he calling it? Cruising splits, and try those little adjustments that we kind of talked about the other day. All right, so let's see. So let's do this one. We're going to do the Padaslave. That's what I'm going to name. That's what I'm going to call it. And it's an $80 average, is what it is. So we're going to buy in 3, 4, 5. We're going to buy in for $500. All right, so $500 buy-in. And we're going to play with red chips, so $5 chips. So remember, again, you got to give them your CPass card. They'll scan it. They give it back to you. And that's how you get your points on the cruise. Now, I don't think I need any of this. Just let me get the initial setup going. All right, so this is called Padaslave strategy. And Glenn was the one that sent it in to me. I met Glenn on the cruise, the last cruise I was on Voyager. And he was running a few different strategies, and then we kind of, started working that point pusher a little bit, and he was able to get over 3,000 points, but he didn't start using it until the last night or so. He'd kind of run his own strategies and stuff, but he sent me this one and said, "Hey, take a look at this one. It's got a real good chance of being very profitable." So let's see. So we're going to take $80. So I take $20 out of my stack. and then I have $80 here. All right, so the setup for it is you put $10 on the 7 to 12 double street here. You put $10, 25 to 30 double street. You put $20 on the middle column, and then you put $40 on black. Okay, so that is $80 average. And I've kind of got a chart here. Probably when I record the video for this, I'll probably show the chart a little better. So low limit fun. Let's see. I only play roulette for comp points. So I usually play Romanowski. Losses are usually infrequent, and it's not too bad to recover. Okay. All right. All right. So this one here, if it hits a black number, so let's say it spins, it hits 26. Okay. So if we can get it to land on 26, 29, 8, or 11, that is a $120 profit. So if we was to rake everything, we would pay out an extra $120. Okay. So most of the blacks, so if you have any of the blacks out here, so like 17, for instance, that is a $60 profit. 20, $60 profit. 13 is a push. Okay, so any of the blacks here in the middle that's not on that. So 35, 17, 20, and 2 is a $60 profit. So any of the blacks that are on the other two columns, so 13 or 22 is a push. Okay, 15, 24 is a push. Okay, and you know, a lot of the red numbers are losses, but let's just see how it does. It seems to hold up fairly well, and even after you have a couple of losses, if you get one good win, you kind of recoup most of what you lost. So it's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a good comp strategy, but it's opportunity for profit. Okay, so let's spin it out. Let's see how it goes. We're going to try 30 spins. And I'm not going to rake everything. I know what the payouts are here, so I'm not going to pull everything down. I'm going to kind of just speed through this a little bit so we're not here too terribly long trying to run through this one strategy. Okay, so this is called the Padaslave strategy. I don't know. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Padaslave. All right, 5. All right, so 5 is a $20 loss. So I'm just going to take the $20 from my rack. We'll set it over here. Okay. That's how I'm going to run it. I know what my losses and profits are on the strategy. So for time purposes, that's how I'm going to run it. All right, everybody good? All right, 0. Of course, that's an $80 loss. So now we'll probably run this strategy and we'll probably lose everything. That's typically how it goes when I'm trying to show y'all something new. All right, 7. Okay, 7 is a $20 loss. Just loss after loss after loss, it seems like. Yeah, I typically don't show y'all anything new on the Sunday night spins, but you know, this one here, it just seems like something I'd like to share with you guys. All right, 23. Okay, 23 is a $20 loss. All right, anybody had any big wins? Have anybody been to any casino or on a ship or anything lately? Okay, 26. Finally. All right, so we know that's a $120 profit. Pretty sure that's 100. Okay, so there's $120 profit. I'm going to bring that back to our rack. Okay. All right, so that one win, we almost recouped all of our losses. All right, 8. Look at there. All right, so that is another $120 profit. Go ahead and bring that back to our rack. So the one session I played this, went from $500 up to $1,200. I had a lot of wins. I mean, it kept hitting on 8 and 11, 29. It kind of was between them three numbers. It hit like 5 or 6 times. Really good. So, all right. So 32. Okay, 32 is a $20 loss. So there's $20. Let's see. Low limit fund. Selling on Liberty, 520. New casino year, looking for points. All right, good job. I like Liberty. Their casino's not too bad. They got 3 tables in the casino there, and it's pretty open too. That's one thing about that ship. It seemed open. The casino's not all cramped up and tight, so you should enjoy it. All right, 21. All right, 21 is a $80 loss. And I've got I'm on Freedom at the end of the month. Any single zero. There was no single zero on Liberty. There was a single zero on Voyager. I just got off of Voyager a couple weeks ago. All right, 2. The $60 win. Okay, there's $60. Bring that back to our rack. But the point pusher has worked really good for points for us. Now, I mean, I can't say for everybody it's going to work, but us, my wife and I, and 2 friends, all of us broke 2,000 points on a 4-night cruise. All right, 33. That is a push. Let's see. There's one on the Symphony. Okay, yeah, Symphony. Some of the Oasis class ships, I was surprised to find a single zero on Voyager, to be honest. He says, I'm going to try it for sure. Okay. All right, 8. All right, there's another $120 win. And this strategy here is actually pretty good. It's good. I think it's okay for comps, to be honest. But I'm always hesitant on buying in for $500. But I think you need $500 for this strategy to kind of give it a chance to get going. Okay, 12. All right, 12 is a $20 loss. All right, what's Ken got? Ken, are you doing point pusher with mod on the cruise? Yeah, I mean, of course, on my next cruise, I probably will. All right, 00. That is an $80 loss. 75, there's 80 right there. Okay. Yeah, doing the mods on the point pusher, it just opens yourself up for more risk. But hey, if you want to make it profitable, you kind of got to do that to kind of keep it going. To be honest. Okay, so 18. 18 is an $80 loss. Oh, I need to keep that part right there. There's $80 there. All right, 7. Okay, 7 is a $20 loss. Yeah, I'm not sure where Glenn got this strategy from. He just emailed me and told me about it. He don't say in his email where he got this strategy from. 29, so that's a $120 profit. All right, so that should be 100 there, and then 20 right there. Bring that back to our rack. What do y'all think so far? It's up and down. It's got an $80 average. Okay, 34. Obviously, that's a bad number. Loss of $80. All right, so we're at this is 27. So we're gonna go 30 spins and see what happens. 36. Another $80 loss, or yeah, $80 loss. All right. All right, y'all got another strategy you want me to run out real quick, or you want me to drop into the cruising splits strategy that I put up this past week? Okay, 5 is a $20 loss. Okay, so spend 29. No, is it? No. No, this is spin number 19. We just go 20 spins. Thought I had 30 chips there. All right, 24 is a push. So, I don't know. We're just going to go 20 spins on it. All right, 14. Okay, 14 is a $20 loss. All right, so let's bring it all back. We've gone 20 spins with it. Okay, so we bought in for $500. We're going to cash out with $400. All right, so we lost $100 on that session. So there's 400 back to the wallet there. And let's see, let's put all this back right here. All right, so there's that 500 there. All right, let's see what's Ken got. So Ken, is Point Pusher your number one on cruises? At this point, right now it is. But I've only played it once on the cruise. Ryan sent it to us a couple weeks ago. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. Which one of these did it go to? And then after, spinning it out and testing it out before the cruise, we decided to really go for it. So at this point in time, Point Pusher is my number one. Let's see. A friend of mine played the Point Pusher last week with a little mod to spice it up. He started playing red or black after a color hit 3 times in a row. He would play the opposite color in martingale till it hit. Wow. Okay. Yeah, martingale, that gets expensive on the red or black. And really and truly, martingaling on the even pay really doesn't work out very well long term, because you get to the point where you ain't getting your money back. But hey, if it works, it works. Okay, so we're going to buy in. What do you want to do? You want to go do the cruising splits and see if we can tweak it a little bit and see if we can make some profit on it? What did we buy in for? 300? Yeah, I think we bought in for 300. So there's 300. And we were playing with $2 chips. So let me just buy in for 200. So 200, and we're going to play with color chips. That's $200 in color chips. Do splits. Okay, we're going to try this cruising splits because a few of you had comments about it, and I wanted to test it out. So we got $200 here. Okay, so the cruising splits are 0, 00, 1, 4, 2, 3, 7, 10, 8, 11, 9, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 21, 24, 22, 23, 25, 26, 31, 34, and 32, 33. So that should be 13 chips. Okay, I got 7 chips left right there. And let's see. Let's see what happens here. Let me put this somewhere out of the way again. All right. Here we go. We're going to go 20 spins and see if we can get anything to happen here. Anybody remember what I said I was going to do? If we win, we're gonna press those wins, or no, we got to wait and get it to 2 and then we press them. That's what we do. Okay, so 35, that's a loss. I'm not going to rake that, so we know that's a 13 chip loss right there. So time purposes, that's what we're going to do. Okay, everybody good with that? All right, y'all got any questions? Okay, 9. All right, so that is, what did we figure that was? Because that pays 17. All right, so there's 17. And I'll reset back to step 1. All right, so it's a 5 chip win. All right, so there's a 5 chip profit right there. Maybe if we get 2 of them in a row, then we go up. What do you think? 2 wins, that'll be 10 chips. The 5 chips, we could spread them out down there if you wanted to, I guess, but I don't know. I'd rather cover 10 of them instead of 5 of them. Okay, 24. All right, that's another 5 chip profit right there. All right, what do y'all think? Take these 10, double up on some splits, and see if we can get a double out of it. I think that's what we said we was going to do, ain't it? Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I just took those 10 chips, those 2 wins in a row, took those 10 chips. Now we've doubled up some splits. And we're only going for 1 win. It says if you win 10, you could add 3 from the rack. Yeah, I could. All right, let's do that real quick before the ball lands. So there's that 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, 34. That worked out because that one wasn't covered, was it? All right, good call. Good call, Andrew. All right, so that's going to pay 34 chips. All right, there's 30, 34. All right, we're going to set back to the original. It's right there, ain't it? Here, there. Okay, so now 1 cycle. That's a 23 chip profit for 1 cycle, but we took 3 out of our rack, right? So we take those away. So now it's only a 20 chip profit. But hey, I'll take that 20 chip profit for 1 cycle. How about you guys? All right, then we're just going to drop it back down to step 1. What y'all think? That seemed like it made a little bit of a difference in this strategy. It's pretty good. All right, Gary. Thanks for commenting, buddy. All right, 23. So that is a 5-chip profit there. So there's 5. We're just going to bring that to our rack for a second. I'm going to try to get 2 in a row. Yeah, because I think when it loses, we got to go up to 2 chips, right? But we got to get it's got to lose, right? But so far, nothing but wins. All right, so here we go. So there's 10 chips. And from what Andrews, who was it, said, take 3 from the rack. All right, Andrew said take 3 from the rack. So we're going to take 3 more from the rack. And then we're going to double all of those splits. Okay? Looking good. All right, so Low Limit Fun says it's looking good. If we can keep on a winning streak. Let's see, Gary says, pretty sure I met you on Voyager a few weeks ago. Over here from a recommendation from Brian at Holy Roller. All right, Gary, I don't know. I can't remember. I met Glenn and his buddy. And I think David on the cruise. All right, so that was a loss. So according to the strategy, we're supposed to double up after a loss, but we just doubled our wins up. What do y'all think? Stick with the 1. So have you met Brian? You cruise with him one time? Let's do what the strategy says. It says go up 2 chips. So we're going to go double. Two here, 2 there. No, there. 2 there. 2, 2. Cruised with him twice so far. Yep, I've cruised with Brian a couple times too. I met him on a cruise. I don't know if it was, I think it was the beginning of last year. It might have been December of the year before. And he was on there and just kind of met him, talked with him a couple times. And then we went on a spring break cruise and he was on the same cruise with us. So nothing that we planned. All right, so there's that. So that's 34 chips right there. Yeah, Brian's a good guy, man. He's generous. That's what I like about him. He's full of knowledge, and he wants you to be successful. That's the thing about Brian. He's a good guy, man. And then here and there. Okay, so that is a 10-chip profit. All right, what do y'all think? What should we do with these 10 chips? So we take them up to, should we add those 3 and take it up to 3 chips each and really risk it? Or just rack these? Rack this 10. His knowledge got me about 18. You got 18,000 points last year. Holy crap. Let's see. Low Limit says never met him, but seems like he wants everyone to win. Yep. And would Royal rate this system about 130 points per hour? No. Well, it's according to how many spins you can get in there. Because you're starting out with only 13 chips, so you'd only have $26. We're just going to rack this. All right, let's just rack this. And if we get another win, we're going to see if we can get one more win out of it before we go crazy. Let's rack that because we had that one loss. But if you're getting $26, and my math normally on most of the cruises, the normal math is you get your average every 10 spins. So $26, 10 spins. So if you had 40 spins, you would be right at 100 points, you know, just over. So your points probably aren't far off for this. Maybe they would rate you at 30 or 40 point, $40 playing this strategy. Okay, 12. Okay, all right. I don't have to rate that because I know that's a 10 chip profit. All right, so there's 10 chips. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and go up with it. So we're saying we got the 10, and we added 3 from our rack. All right, this is what you call gambling, but you're creating some opportunity for some profit doing this. No, I'm not playing with $5 right now, Gary. I dropped it down to 2 for this strategy here because you're having to put so many out, and then it's kind of not a martingale, but it's a ladder up system that somebody sent me, and then we just lost all that. Okay. All right, so we just lost all that. So that was 2, 3, 7. Lost what we're supposed to do here now. So 3, 3, 3. There's 3 there. Yeah, I don't know if adding those chips to that's working out very well. Not sure if this modification is working. Damn, my nose is itching. In the world. All right. Here we go. All right. Well, Gary, was it Gary that said he was on the Voyager? Yeah, Gary. What do you think of Voyager? How'd you like it? Ugh, man. All right, 12. Okay. All right, that is a 15 chip profit. All right, there's our 15 right there. Let's just drop these down to 2. We got that 1 win. Let's just reduce it down to 2 chips each. Put all them there. Okay. All right, so now on Voyager, Gary, did you play roulette or did you stick to craps, or what's your game, Gary? All right, 9. All right, we know that's a 10 chip profit. Okay, so there's our 10 chips. Let's just bring them back to our rack. And we're going to drop these down to 1 chip each. So why don't we do that? Why don't we ladder up and ladder down? See how that works out. All right, so this is like spin number 13, I think. 21, right there. Okay, so that's a 5 chip profit right there. Let's see, Voyager was okay. This is Gary. Voyager was okay. Felt a bit dated. Casino layout was interesting with tables on the opposite side as most of the ships. Yeah, I would have thought Voyager, I don't know, I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but it just seemed really crowded where all the tables were. Maybe they had just too much going on in there. Could have been worse, but could have been better. All right, 33. All right, there's a 5 chip profit right there. All right, there we go. We got 10 chips. Let's do it again. So we're going to add 3 chips from our rack. And we're going to take these up to 2 chips each. Let's see. So Gary says he's going on Utopia in 2 weeks. So going to try some other systems. Okay. Yeah, we got Voyager for June. We booked it with our annual tier offer. All right, 4. All right, that is a 10 chip profit right there. So let's bring that back to our rack. And we're going to reduce these back down to 1 each. Yeah, I haven't been on Utopia yet, but we booked it for June for our annual, and then the Voyager cruise, we got the 2,000 points, and then we used it to book a spring break cruise next year. So far, we got stuff covered with cruising. All right, with our certificates and our comps and stuff like that. All right, so we lost that. It's 36. All right, so now we got to go up to 2 chips each. So anybody on here booked their annual tier cruise? Have you ever done it before? And are you a regular at it, or is this first time ever or not ever? All right, so let's see. Gary says, very crowded in casino, lots of kids on the pool deck, but that is a must. Most selling from Carnival these days. Yeah, all of them are kind of crowded. It says low limit fun. Anyone here tried Romanowski for points? Seems to get rated well on Royal. And Ryan, there was one pit boss on Utopia that gave me a hard time about rating the point pusher. Forgot his name. He was India or something. No problem getting rated properly from the rest of the pit bosses. Yeah, there's always one pit boss is that way. I don't know why. All right, 8. All right, that is a 10 chip profit right there. All right, we're just going to bring that back to our rack, and we're just going to reduce. We're going to ladder up, ladder down. How about that? What y'all think of doing that? But yeah, there's always one pit boss that this just kind of, wants to screw everybody over. I don't know what it is. Okay. All right. That's that. Let's see. Low limit. Booked our annual on Symphony for Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's great use to them. I didn't realize you could book like that with these cruises like that. The annual, I've never made Prime before, so the first opportunity, to utilize that just worked out really good. 25. All right, that's a 5 chip profit. Okay, there we go. So there's 5 chip profit. I don't know how I got 1 extra chip. Somehow. But we used ours on a 4 night, which everybody's like, yeah, don't use it for anything less than 7, but if you don't have enough time to get off work and you got other plans with kids and all that going on, hey, for a 4 night, paid $400 in taxes and port fees for the cruise. And when you tried to book it separately, it's like $6,500. I don't know what the complaint is. Why I shouldn't be able to use that on a 4 night. I just saved, $6,000. All right, so let's see, 28. That's a loss. All right, so it says we're supposed to go up 2 chips on each. All right, let's see what we got. Icon for November for Gary. And I'm hoping we'll be able to go on Icon next year. I just don't have enough time this year to fit that in there. And hopefully won't be on the exclusion list next year for the dates we're looking for. There's always one pit boss that feels the points are coming out of their own pocket. That's right. And low limit. Use it any way that works for you. Hey, that's my thought too. But you know, if you're on any of those Facebook groups, you know, ain't nobody just ask a simple question without everybody just tearing them down. You know, not everybody has done this for a living. You know, has you know, some people are just getting into it and they just don't know everything. All right, 35. That's a loss. All right, so that was 20 spins. 20 spins with the Cruisin Streets strategy. And looks like we're down. What are we buying for? 200. So it's 160. So we're out for 160. So let's see. So there's 150 and 160. All right. So $160 out, in for 200. And as far as our rating goes for that, you know, you're at $26. How would they rate you? I don't know. Maybe they'd catch you at the other. I mean, 26, 52. So we're at 52. Yeah, I don't know. And then like 70. I think it's 70 something. 70, 80. I don't know. They might would have had you at 50. Let's say they had you at 50. So you might have got 100 points for that session. So, all right, that's what we're going to say. We probably got 100 points for 20 spins. And, you know, time at the table, I don't know. Here lately, I can't figure out if it's time at the table or number of spins. It's really hard. I think it's number of spins because when you play, they take this is called a dolly. I call it marker. It's just, I don't know, whatever. But then when they move it from here to here, and then they move it back, I think that counts as one cycle. You know, I think that's easier to keep up with than your time at the table. But, you know, it's a toss-up. What do you guys think? You think it's time at the table or you think it's number of spins? They're getting your average for every spin, so I think it's the back and forth and whatever your average is. That's what I think it is. Let's see. Ryan says, I like that first one you did. $80 out there will give you a decent rating, and you have some chances to make a few bucks. Yeah, and like I said, the first time I spun it out after Glenn sent it to me, you go from $500 to $1,200 in 30 spins. It's like, man, there ain't no system better than this. It's great average, and it's really more than doubled my money, right? But then 3 sessions after that was a loss, lost everything, and a little bit of a loss. And then that one there was we lost about $100, didn't we? So yeah, so I don't know. It's a toss up. Let's see, what y'all want to run now? You want me to run Point Pusher with some mods, or you got anything else you want me to try? Let's see. Let's say Low Limit says, I played $80 for 50 spins, broke even, and got 430 points on the last trip. So $80 for 50 spins. Okay. That's not bad. 50 spins, you're under 100, obviously. So yeah, as far as points goes, I think that's probably about accurate. What do you think? 50 spins at $80? All right, Low Limit says, I'd like to see Point Pusher again. Okay. Run it with taking 1 chip down. Okay. All right, that's what we're going to do. All right, so let's see. So we're going to play with $5 chips. Let's get these orange out of the way. All right, let's say we'll buy in for 300. There's 300 there. And remember, money, CPass card, they'll scan it and give it back to you. If you don't do that, everybody will think you look like an idiot. All right. Okay, so we're going to buy in for $300. These $300 in $5 chips. And what do y'all want to do? You want to do at $80? Y'all want to do the 45? What do you think? Now let's go for it. We're looking for some points. So let's go 80. All right, so $80. So the way I like to set this up, I make 3 stacks of 6. Okay, or it's $90. I'm sorry, I saw 80 over here. So $90 because that's $30, 30, 30. All right, so we're gonna take 30. We'll put it on the 3rd column. Now we take this other stack of 12 chips here. We put 2 chips corner, 2 chips on the corner, 2, 2, 2. We got 2 left. We're going to put this up here on the basket. Okay. And we are set. And we're going to go for 20 spins. And we're going to be pulling the chip. So let's see. So Ryan wants to run it with taking 1 chip down. All right. So we're going to just, now this was one thing I did on the last cruise. I don't think I showed it in my, on the last video. Okay. But instead of taking the entire thing down, instead of pulling both of these chips, I started just pulling 1 chip. You know, pull 1. Because if it hits in here, it's a half loss. Okay, so it's not a complete loss, but at least it's got an opportunity for you to gain 1 chip while playing it. So what do y'all think of that? Using that modification, just pull 1 chip. Let's see. Gary says I was doing $25 on 2 columns and 25 on 2 dozens for $100 average. Ran it for about 15 spins. Did good. Profit $300. Also got about 180 points on my last session. Okay, so 180 points on 15 spins. Well, you 100 points. That's pretty accurate. I mean, I think the number of spins is the factor that everybody needs to focus on, not necessarily time at the table. Because I could sit there for an hour. Oh, we were 15. I could sit there for an hour and get 20 spins, or I could sit there for an hour and get 40 spins. It's you know, it's according to how fast that dealer wants to go. But I definitely get more points during a 40 spin hour than I do a 20 spin hour. All right, 1. Well, there we go. Whack. All right. So here we go. We're going to reset. And that should leave 6 chips left over right there. Wow. That hurt. Let's see, Andrew, you could pull a chip from the column. Yeah. So what would that leave? That leave 5. So that'd be 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10. I don't know. I'd have to pull it and see. All right, 30. All right, that's a push. All right, so let's do what Andrew just said. So if it hits the column, let's pull 1 chip off the column. Let's try that. Let's try that out. So we're gonna pull 1 chip right there. Did I put a chip there? I don't know. We're gonna put it in anyway. All right, so 24, and that was a bad move. Wouldn't it? Yeah. Now we just lost 2 chips. Okay. I'm not sure that was a good idea. Now that, and then we got to go there. All right, we're resetting again. So pulling it from over there and it hitting that column was, I don't know, it could have been worse. So we lost 2 chips for hitting that column. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're better off pulling one of these than that one. But Yeah, I don't know. All right, 10, that's a push. All right, so we hit 10, so we're going to pull one of these. All right, 29. Okay, so that is now a 1-chip profit. We'll bring that back right here. Well, we'll put it here. We're going to pull this one. Okay. Not sure I want to do that every single time. It's like maybe alternate, do it once, do it every other. I don't know. 24. All right. Again, that's a 1-chip profit. So we're going to put that right there. Now, I think when it hits the column, let's just put everything back normal. I don't know. What y'all think? All right, 2. All right, so that should be a $30 profit. Okay, so there is, let's create some opportunity. So let's take 3 of those chips. There's 3 there. Let's take these 3. Let's pick some corners. Let's see if we can get a win on one of those corners there. And it hit 0. All right, so we lost these 3. All right, and then that should pay 30. All right, so there's 30 right there. All right, let's try it again. We're going to take 3 of those from that. Let's go here. Should have doubled up down there. Leave the column, but risk the removal of the corner. Okay. Yeah, because that's 12 numbers that you're. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Gary. It's probably not a good idea to pull from the column. That's 12 numbers. At least you're only risking for 4 numbers here. All right, 35. We're going to lose these 3 that we just put out there because that would be a push without them. All right. Let's get this back to our rack right there. All right, we're going to pull 1 from the corner right there. And Ryan says, yeah, leave the column. Too many numbers to lose money on pulling 1 chip off of. Right. And, of course, it hits that. Lord have mercy. All right. So that's everything. All right, so there is our 8 chips there. There's a 5. There's 8 chip loss right there. Now we're going to reset to 2, and that should leave 6 right there. And it's not going to hit there twice or 3 times in a row, is it? What do y'all think? Maybe we can get us a $10 profit. All right, 12. All right, so we took that one off, so that's going to make this a $10 profit. Okay, and we're going to leave it. Now we're going to leave it alone because we hit the column. We don't want to pull from the column, but we don't want to pull from one of these unless it hits one of the 4. That sound logical? All right, 14. Okay. All right, so it hit 14, so it's in here. So let's just take 1 off. You know, and it just changes your bet from a $90 average to an $85 average. I don't think they really noticed that. All right, so because we took that one, there's that one chip profit. All right, let's put that back on there. Let's see. And we're already almost an hour into this. All right, 31. All right, that's a push. Oh, we needed to pull one, didn't we? Wasn't it 31? All right, let's pull that one. All right, 18. That's a one chip profit. Bring that back. No, we're not going to bring it back. We're going to put it back over here. So maybe when it hits a column, you put everything back to normal. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. Put it all back to normal. Okay, 14. All right, that's a push. But we're going to pull one of these chips right there. All right, so we're on spin number 18. All right, 23. That is a one chip profit. So we're going to put that one back there. We're going to pull this one. All right, y'all want me to go to 30 or 40 spins, or y'all want me to stop at 20? It's completely up to you guys. You guys are just hanging out with me. And hey, if you would, real quick, hit that like button for me if you don't mind. All right, 11. Okay, so that one was off. So that is a one chip profit. So we'll replace that one. We're going to pull this one. But you know, just need y'all to like these videos. Let's see if we can get more subscribers. I'm looking at you know, 1,430. I think it's like 37 subscribers or something. All right, 11, of course. It would have to hit that one. All right, so there's 8. And that's a loss of 8 chips. About the time we get going. All right, well that was 20 spins. So should we pull it? Let's see. Low limit says, think I like pulling a chip if a corner hits. Seems to be working. Yeah, unless it doesn't. So, all right, so that was 20 spins. We go more? Let's go to 30. Let's go to 30. If you guys want to hang out, we'll try to go 30 spins. So this is spin 11. We're down a little bit right now. Maybe we can recoup some. There we go. That'll help. Okay, so that is a $30 profit right there. And y'all want to take and risk 3 of them? See if we can put 3 of them to work. Here we go. Let's go here, here, and here. Let's see what that does. I think that'll be a 6 chip profit if I can hit one of them. Try pulling 2 chips of the corner that hits this time. Okay. All right, 9. All right, we lost those 3. And now we're reset. Let's see. So Ryan wants us to start pulling both chips off of the corner that hits. Let's test that and see what happens. All right, 18. So it's going to hit the column the whole time. Let's see. Andrew says you could pull from the basket and move the remaining chip to 0 to make a split. Let's see. Wave 64 type beats in gaming says 15 hitting, 26. Okay, so that's a push there. So Ryan's saying pull this $10 here. All right, let's try it, Ryan. Let's see what happens. And 21. Okay, so we pulled that one. So that is a $10 profit. All right, so we're going to replace that. Seem right? If we hit the column, we just replace everything, get it back to normal. This is spin 26. All right, 8. All right, so now it's a push. So we're going to pull this one. So Andrew's saying you could pull from the basket and move the remaining chip to 0 double 0. I don't know. All right, 35. So that's a $10 profit there. All right, so we're going to now pull this one. If we did that, that would pay 17. 6, 8, 10. That's only that would only be a 1 chip profit if it was to hit, though. All right, 30. All right, that's a $10 profit. So we're going to replace this one. Okay, now we're set back to normal. Let's see what happened here. It says put some on 19 to 36. Let's see. Low limit says depends on whether you want points or profit. Pulling from a corner opens up more potential for loss. Yep. Let's see. Wave 64 says what's the strategy? All right, Wave. This is a strategy we're calling point pusher. This is for earning points. It's a comp system essentially. You can play this at your land-based casino, but normally what we focus on are cruising casinos for cruise comps. Everywhere is a push. So set up here, just like it's set up, we have 6 chips there, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2 in the basket. From here down is all a push. Your loss numbers are 1, 4, and 5. If you want to, go back on the channel. I have a video up there that's it's the point pusher strategy. And one of the guy that submitted it, Ryan, on here is the one that gave it to us a couple weeks ago. All right, so 10 was our number. All right, so that's 30 spins. You want to go more? You want to see if it can continue to hold up? So we're at 30, and we are over an hour right now. We could cash out, and we are only going to be down just a little bit, to be honest. But 30 spins at $90 a spin, we're probably looking at 250 to 300 points. All right. All right, let's do that. Let's just call it. All right, so that's 30 spins that we went with point pusher. We bought in for $300. We're leaving out with 25, 30, 35, 40. So $240. So $240. And we'll say we probably got 300 points for that session. Okay. So for the night, how many points we think we got? 500? 500 points maybe? Go up a chip and 10 more spins. Oh, Gary wants us to go for more. Gary wants us to really push the limits. Get a great amount of points. Yeah. So, all right, we'll just do it like that. We'll just go 30 spins. We're over an hour now. I know you guys got a life. All right. So for the night, we bought in for $1,000, or our bankroll was 1,000 for the night. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. There's $800. So for the night, we lost $200. We played 3 or 4 different strategies, and we probably got close to 500 points for that. So, you know, not too bad. Not too bad at all, to be honest. We kind of had a rough go on the other strategy, I think. But anyway, but if you guys would, make sure to like this for me. Like this video, and you know, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Turn on your notifications, and just kind of stay in touch. I try to have a video come up, you know, try to once a month, or not once a month, once a week, give or take. Try to do 1 or 2. It's like I haven't figured out the YouTube algorithm yet. But make sure you're subscribed. Let's see what we got. Some more comments coming in here. So let's see. So low limit says 500 easy for minimal loss, right? Yeah, I think so too, Low. Let's see. Gary says $60 isn't bad at all. And let's see, Ryan, the points are definitely easier to earn on roulette than craps. Yeah, that's a conversation to have with Brian. Brian and I are going to have we wanted to get on a cruise together and have a competition for craps against roulette and see who can get the most points, you know, using the same level bankroll. I use a $300 bankroll. He may use a, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 bankroll. So, you know, as far as points goes, Brian gets a lot of points with craps, but he also plays a long time on craps. Let's see here. Gary says, thanks for the live, great content. And Low Limit says, glad I made the live stream. Thanks for doing this. All right, I'll try to do it every Sunday night. So set an alarm or mark your calendars. I try to do it every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. That's 9 o'clock Eastern. I live in Florida, and that's why I'm able to cruise like I am. I'm about 2.5 hours from Port Canaveral, about 2 hours from Tampa, about 5.5, 6 hours from Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So it's a little bit of work to get all the way down to there. But hey, it's within driving range. You know, I don't have to pay for flights or plane tickets or anything like that. But anyway, make sure to like and subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruisin'. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see you.